Welcome to The Explainer. Ever look at a simple comic strip and wonder what makes it so dang funny? Well, today, we're going to tear this four-panel comic apart to see what makes it tick. We're going to look at how it builds a story, plays with our expectations, and then lands a perfect punchline that changes absolutely everything.
Okay, so let's just start by taking in the whole thing at once. Looks pretty straightforward, doesn't it? You've got a rabbit clearly venting to a dog. But seeing it all together like this really helps us appreciate how each individual panel is a building block, leading us to that killer final joke. Now let's zoom in and break it down.
All right, first up, setting the scene. Let's see how the artist wastes zero time getting us right into the thick of it.
So right off the bat, we're dropped smack in the middle of a conflict. The rabbit is obviously worked up about something. Look at him, leaning in, super animated, airing a big-time complaint. The artist is basically forcing us to see things from their perspective right from the get-go.
And there it is. That's the line that kicks this whole thing off. It's so direct, and it immediately paints the rabbit as the poor victim here. We're just told, flat out, that this roommate, Creamy, is absolutely intolerable. So our point of view? It's locked in.
Now check out what the rabbit does next. It's not just complaining anymore, they're actually building a case, you know? It feels like they're trying to head off any defense of the roommate before you can even think of one.
Oh, this line is just brilliant. The rabbit actually brings up Creamy's side of the story, but only to immediately dismiss it as totally ridiculous. It's a really slick move to make us feel even more sympathy for the rabbit. And hey, remember that phrase, taking advantage of her? It's gonna come back. And the art itself totally reinforces all this. You've got the rabbit, all expressive and leaning in, just dominating the conversation. And then you've got the dog, just chilling, calm, taking it all in with a thoughtful hand on the chin. I mean, everything we see is basically designed to make us side with the rabbit.
So, after that whole rant, the story takes a little twist. It kind of suggests that, maybe things aren't as bad as they seem.
So the comic's really posing a question to us, the reader. Has something changed here? Has the rabbit maybe softened up a little? We're definitely being led to hope for some kind of good news as we head into this third panel.
And here it is. The whole tone just shifts. The rabbit seems to be calming down, and what they're saying hints at, well, maybe a truce. This is the moment where the comic dangles that little bit of hope in front of us.
And there's the big reveal. Creamy, the so-called intolerable roommate, actually got the rabbit a birthday present. All of a sudden, the story feels a lot more complicated. Maybe this whole situation isn't the total disaster we were led to believe. And now, for the grand finale. Let's see how all that buildup, the complaint, the justification, that little glimmer of hope, it all comes crashing down in one single final panel. So the dog, who's basically our stand-in, reacts exactly how we're supposed to react. Mr. Granola, huh? That's pretty nice, they start to say. And that just confirms our own feeling of relief, right before the rug gets completely yanked out from under us. And then, bam, I wonder what I can get for it. In one incredibly selfish question, the entire narrative we've been following just shatters. It's completely gone.
Wow. I mean, that's not just a punchline, is it? That is a total character assassination. In one sentence, we find out that everything we thought we knew was wrong. The rabbit's true colors are on full display, and we finally get what's really going on in that apartment.
So, why is this joke so incredibly effective? Well, it really just boils down to three classic storytelling tricks all working together in perfect harmony.
First up, you've got just masterful misdirection. For 3 full panels, we are totally sold on this story about a poor, long-suffering rabbit. The comic builds such a solid case that when the twist finally comes, it's a genuine shock.
Second, it's such an efficient character reveal. I mean, think about it. In just 7 little words, the rabbit goes from being this sympathetic victim to a cold, calculating user. We learn more about who they really are in that one line than in the entire rest of the comic.
And finally, for the knockout punch, the irony. You remember back in panel 2 when the rabbit said the idea of them taking advantage of Creamy was totally ridiculous? Well, guess what? It turns out that was the absolute 100% truth all along.
And that's what we're left with, isn't it? This comic does way more than just make us laugh. It actually forces us to rewind the entire story in our heads. It brilliantly uses humor to trick us and then, in the end, to show us the truth. In just 4 simple panels, it's a masterclass in how to tell a perfect and perfectly deceptive story.